Last week, we were working on the tone generator and the noise analyzer, and I said I was going to get back to you after I talked with Ryan at my work on what it all does, because it is very interesting. I'm sorry, I keep saying 1 week ago. It only seems like a week.
It does.
Yes. So anyway, we're going to show you a little bit more about how it can be used to detect where wiring goes in your house, or if you had wiring in a factory or whatever have you. It's to analyze where wiring goes when you're having issues with your wiring. So I will show you how that is done. I just made up a piece of wire here. Okay, and we can clip the tone generator on one end of the cable, and let's say for instance you had a problem with some of your wiring from your circuit breaker box and you didn't know where it went. You could shut down the power on that box and connect the tone generator. I'll pull that out now. If I can get it out of here. You connect the tone generator up to the two wires, or one wire I should say, whichever way, on one end by your circuit breaker box. And then you have the other wires that we don't really know where they're going, but there's no power on them now because you disconnected all your power. So we can take the noise analyzer, and as you can see right now it just has a little bit of a buzz from the noise, the static electricity or wavelength in the air that hurts from the AC. So now we can put this on tone and watch. I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear it on there?
Hold on, let me take this over so take the webcam over.
You hear that?
Yeah, and you can hear that.
Okay, now watch. See how it was kind of quiet there? Because we're going through a shielded cable. It's still just the same noise right there. Now
I think we might need to bring it closer.
Way at the end, there's like 30 feet of cable. Okay? But now we come right to the actual wire. See that?
Super loud.
That's because this is a shielded cable, so we're getting some shielding, and the shielding is preventing the noise from coming out. But at least we're hearing it. So if this was in your wall or something, you'd be able to hear it, especially the wires in a regular house. But once you come up to here, it is loud as can be. There was one other question on this tone generator. It had something, we thought it meant continuous, C-O-N-T. Well, it did not mean. Can you see that better?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. At any rate, the continuous didn't mean continuous, it meant continuity.
Which is basically, for the people that don't know out there, is basically whether it can, basically is one thing connected to the other, basically.
That's exactly what it is. So, it basically means if you have a short together with the wiring. So right now I have these wires the continuity tester is connected on one end, and this end the wires are separated. And if you'll notice, there's a little light on here right above that exec tech. That little circle, that's a light. So that little light is, now continue to show that light, okay? Now watch, when I touch these, now, when we touch these two wires together, you got to show
here.
See the light?
Yep.
So that is a continuity tester. You could do the same thing with an ohm meter.
And a voltmeter too. This is basically any handheld meter there is.
Well, I don't know about that. It's you need an ohm meter for continuity tester, or they have other types of meters that would do the same thing. But so now we know a little bit more about what this actually is: this amplifier probe and the tone generator. Okay, and then in just a little bit, we're going to also follow up with some of the things I discussed while filling out the order of worship. There were some things that kind of caught my eye. Maybe we could even talk about it right now, here and now.
Yeah, we could certainly.
Well, we're going to talk about that when we get back into the house, just before we do the net neutrality conversation. So thanks a lot.
Welcome back to the Grandpa Joe Show. My name's, as always, is Dominic Brosh, and this is recorded on December 3rd. This is Joe Walensky, and so we are going to follow up on some thoughts from Grandpa Joe.
Right, yeah. Last week when we were doing the order of worship, I kind of noticed some different interesting things, because whenever you talk about your faith at all, you don't want to be wrong in your words, and not that I was wrong in any of the words that I had said, but some do need clarifying. So it's kind of interesting because it's almost like Ignatius spirituality, watching yourself on video what you were talking about. There's something called the examine. Ignatius has you do it at night in your prayers. You can examine your day and see where you saw God and where maybe you so much didn't see God. But in this case here, I was able to reflect back watching that video. It was enhanced examine, and one thing I did that stuck out in my mind was at the very end of it, I had said that when you leave Mass, after you have received Jesus in the Eucharist, when you leave Mass, you go out and you actually are Jesus. Well, you aren't Jesus in reality, but you are playing a role of Jesus at that time, I guess you'd say. And I could also use a poem by Saint Teresa of Avila, and it's called. It says, "Christ has no body but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which he looks compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands with which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes, and you are his body." And once again, that's by Saint Teresa of Avila. And now I guess we're going to get into the topic, the hot topic of the day.
If I can position this thing correctly.
Okay. We're going to get into the hot topic of the day, which Dominic knows all about, and I know just minimal about.
And obviously, if you can tell by your age differences, you can already tell if you do some thinking and correlation. That is, and if you've been watching the news or reading the news lately, it is net neutrality. So this has been a hot topic throughout the whole month, like the whole later month, really. So what the FCC did when hiring Ajit Pai was that his plan was to demolish net neutrality. So since me included was kind of like weary of this whole thing happening, I kind of knew it was going to start happening, but so far what I've gained is that people have gone so far, there's multiple websites Battle for the Net received about 585,000 calls as of November 23rd when I was taking notes for this. 375,000 in that week of November 23rd, and 270,000 alone on that day. So, and as well as Change.org also started 7 new petitions over the last 48 hours, which is as of November 23rd again. Now, I'm aware that sometimes the FCC employees, we don't really know if this is really coming from them, but one of them was saying that she's on the FCC. Please stop us from killing net neutrality, and she also quoted, it's a lousy idea and it deserves a heated response from millions of Americans who work and create online every day. Now, obviously on the screen in front of you is another article according to Vitana. Is it Vitana, I believe? And as you can see, these are the pros and cons of net neutrality. So if you want to kind of like jump on in, Grandpa, and do pros or cons, go ahead. But right now we can cover all the pros of net neutrality. It creates an equal playing field, and hopefully if anyone doesn't mind me reading what this is. Next one, it protects innovation. Number 3 is actually a big thing for America. It provides everyone with a freedom of expression. So obviously illegal activities are still monitored. That's just basically the right thing to do. Number 5, it will classify internet service providers as utility providers.
Providers kind of like utility providers right now.
Yeah, they're currently that way right now.
Yeah.
It's just once net neutrality goes, if it ever does, you can see that the definition of utility is the state of being useful, profitable, or beneficial. Quantum OS 5. This is basically kind of like what I was kind of like working on just a couple days ago, because I've been developing a little operating system type thing here. This is kind of like for hobby's sakes. So that's basically what this looks like now. Obviously, it's a non-working prototype, so as more stuff goes down the line, if we can revisit that on the Grandpa Joe Show. But that's basically all for that. So basically that is the Grandpa Joe Show for this Saturday, and now recorded on Sunday, December 2nd, 2017. I'm Dominic Brosh, as well as and Joe Walensky. As always, you can contact us on grandpajoeshow@gmail.com for any questions, concerns, or other stuff. And you can also become a guest on the Grandpa Joe Show via Skype at the Grandpa Joe Show, and at the Grandpa Joe Show that's the username for is Grandpa Joe Show. So anyway, for me and Joe. And Grandpa Joe, this is the Grandpa Joe Show, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Okay, and God bless.